Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Let's get you the latest headlines. Rains, fresh tremors and fears keep Nepal on the edge. Death toll goes past 2,500. Government races to extend aid to Nepal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaches out to India's neighbour in its hour of crisis. Goods and Services Tax Constitution Amendment Bill in Lok Sabha today. Government tries to allow opposition's reservations. Saudi-led coalition carries out bombings in Yemen's capital Sana'a. Iran says its ships will not leave Gulf of Aden. Now, top story, Nepal shook again along with the northern part of India on Sunday. Aftershock of 6.9 magnitude hit the already battered region, triggering panic among the people. While there are no reports any major damage because of the aftershock, it temporarily suspended the rescue operation. Now, the death toll to the yesterday's quake yesterday is over 2,500 now, with many more still untraced.
A day after a massive earthquake shook Nepal and parts of India, another major aftershock has hit the entire region on Sunday. Measuring 6.9 on Richter scale, this was the biggest among the many aftershocks to hit the area. The epicenter of this quake was near Kodari in Nepal, which is around 115 kilometers from the capital Kathmandu. The Defence Ministry, which is helping with the relief and rescue operations in Nepal, suspended vehicular and air traffic after the fresh tremor. The Kathmandu airport was also shut down as the air traffic controllers were evacuated. The fresh tremor comes at a time when Nepal, with the help of other countries, is busy to find survivors after Saturday's major 7.9 magnitude quake. The scientists believe many more aftershocks will be experienced in coming days.
11:41 पे जो 7.9 का बड़ा भूकंप आया, उसके बाद में एक बड़ा आफ्टरशॉक 6.6 का रहा, लेकिन कई आफ्टरशॉक्स 5 या 5 के अधिक के भी रहे. तो मसला ये है कि चूंकि अभी ये और समय तक जारी रहेंगे, तो वो बिल्डिंग्स जो कि पहले से कमजोर हैं, वो सुरक्षित नहीं है.
The fresh tremor is expected to aggravate damages in the region. Many are still believed to be trapped under rubble after the quake on Saturday. Several people spent the night outside in camps or under the open sky in fear of another major tremor. With structures weakened by Saturday's quake, no one's taking any chances.
त्यहाँ पसलमा बस्दा बस्दै पसल गर्न गुरुमै पसल गाडी घर गर्न गुरुमै गेस भएको सबै गयो. त्यहाँ भागभाग भयो. रातभरि त्यो सितो चिसमा बस्यो, केरी च्यापेर. अब कता कता त्यहाँ मान्छे 4-5 जना मान्छे च्यापेर निकाल्न पाएन.
The death toll crossed 2,000 on Sunday, with thousands more injured. There were reports of several bodies strewn on the streets of Kathmandu a day after the massive quake. Many more remain untraceable. Thousands of others have been displaced by the series of quakes so far. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
All right, let's get a perspective on that story. Mr. N.K. Bhatnagar, who is the former DIG with the NDRF, is now joining us live in the studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhatnagar, for joining us here today on Rajya Sabha TV. Mr. Bhatnagar, now when a tragedy of this magnitude strikes, the big question is, what is the topmost priority for any disaster management team? And also, can we really be prepared for any such disaster, any such natural calamity?
Yeah, definitely. We should always be prepared about it, because is it a continuous process? You can say it's a continuous process is going on under the earth. So because we are on the verge of this earthquake prone area, and because due to these tectonic plates, the action of these tectonic plates, because this Indian tectonic plate and Euro-Asian tectonic plates, they are rubbing each other, they are pushing each other. Due to that, this earthquake comes. So we should remain always prepared for that, and especially the zone 4 and 5, especially the Delhi area, northern area, Himalayan area. So we should take care of all these things. So for that purpose, we should start this capacity building. Already orders are there to prepare for that, make the capacity building for people. In this case, you can feel that people were not prepared for that.
Yes.
That is why this huge tragedy came.
In fact, there were reports that, if such an earthquake would strike the national capital, the half of national capitals, all the buildings are going to be flattened.
Why? Because they were not prepared for that. And buildings, continuously they were increasing. This heavy buildings were there, and without making any disaster survey and all these things.
Right.
And due to that only this heavy disaster came. Yeah.
Also, Mr. Bhatnagar, now it's been 2 days after the tragedy. Can we really say that there is still a chance of retrieving people alive from the rubble, or should we take it for granted that most of the missing people are presumed dead?
No, not like that. After this complete rescue operation, we will be able to assess these things, because still now there are chances that people will be alive. Yeah.
And also, now there are rains and aftershocks that obviously are happening in Nepal at the moment. And so how does the disaster management team deal with these eventualities?
Yes, definitely they are doing their level best. They have the equipments to find out the dead bodies and live and all these things. Our NDRF people are doing well, and the people also helping them. Local people are helping them. And now it depends the situation of that area.
All right. And also at the same time in Nepal, when this tragedy has struck, there are a number of areas, number of districts that are actually cut off, especially the remote areas. There are no communication lines. So how does the disaster management team deal with situations like these? Because there's no communication with those areas. So how does the team reach out to these areas and talk to these people, help these people?
Now India government is giving too much of help in the communication sector, in the rescue sector, in the medical sector. So I think is not so heavy situation, not so serious situation, because Indian government is taking all the care, and very soon all the things will be okay.
Okay, you are basically assuring that things would be okay, but at the same time, speaking about the medical staff there, now there are reports, in fact our reporters have also been telling us that the hospitals there are overburdened, they are overloaded with people. Under these circumstances, what can the government do?
Yeah, definitely Nepal government is not capable. The outside aid is required from other countries also, but main our India is the main helping body. And our doctors team is there, so they are making all the comfort and all the medical aids to them.
All right, so what is very important is that there should be a huge international aid to that country, because obviously Nepal is a poor country, and that international aid is pouring. And in fact, India is also leading the rescue efforts. NDRF team is making very important and Herculean and appreciable work in that nation. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhatnagar, for joining us this morning and sharing your perspective on that story. Thank you. Well, international aid is pouring in for Nepal, which is still grappling with the after effects of the massive quake as rescuers continue searching for people believed to be trapped under the rubble. The nation battles with lack of medical aid and food amid recurring aftershocks. Now, leading the international aid, India has deployed NDRF teams, several Air Force planes and helicopters to the rescue. Take a look.
The day after the massive quake shook Nepal, pictures of devastation became clearer this morning. Search operations to find more survivors has intensified since Saturday. Wearing face masks to keep out the dust from collapsed buildings, rescuers scrambled over mounds of splintered timber and broken bricks in the hope of finding survivors. India has stepped up efforts to help Nepal in the rescue and relief. Many hospitals in Nepal were damaged in the quake, affecting treatment to those injured. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed India's commitment to help Nepal after the region was shaken by intense quakes since Saturday.
हिंदुस्तान आपके दुख में आपके साथ है। तत्काल मदद के लिए चाहे हिंदुस्तान के जिस कोने में मुसीबत आई है वहां भी और नेपाल में भी सहाय पहुंचाना प्रारंभ कर दिया है। सबसे पहला काम है रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन, लोगों को बचाना।
He also chaired a high-level meeting after the massive aftershock on Sunday to take stock of the relief and rescue operation. Several NDRF teams with help from Indian Air Force aircraft and helicopters are pressed into service to look for more survivors and provide relief to the victims.
We expect to have 13 military aircraft go into Kathmandu. 4 of them are C-17s, 3 of them are C-130s, 4 of them are IL-76s, and 2 of them are AN-32s.
Helicopters could not go because of bad weather. They had taken us from Gorakhpur. We'll increase the frequency tomorrow because जितना जरूरत है उतना सपोर्ट दे दें.
सर आप हेलीकॉप्टर जो लैंड नहीं कर पाए उनका कल
because of bad weather. कल सुबह again there are more arrangement from Gorakhpur.
नेपाल के बारे में ये मैं कहूँगा कि वहाँ हमारी 7 टीमें जा चुकी हैं, 3 अभी जाने वाली हैं. 2-3 घंटे में 3 और टीमें पहुँच जाएंगी. कुल मिलाकर 10 टीमें हमारी नेपाल में ऑपरेशंस कर रही हैं. और हमारा सबसे पहला मैंडेट है कि वहाँ हम लोगों को, नेपाल के लोगों को किस तरह उनका सर्च करें, उनको रेस्क्यू करें और अच्छे से सेफर सुरक्षित स्थानों पर पहुँचाएं. हम लोगों ने 3 जगहों में अपनी टीमें बांट रखी हैं. एक बख्तापुर जगह है जहाँ हमारी 3 टीमें हैं, एक ललितपुर है जहाँ हमारी 2 टीमें हैं और काठमांडू वैली में हमारी 2 टीमें कार्यरत हैं. और अभी रात में 15 लोगों को हम लोगों ने सुरक्षित स्थान पर रेस्क्यू करके लाया है.
आज सुबह 34 डॉक्टर और पैरामेडिक्स की एक टोली सुबह रवाना हो गई है. बाई एयर वो काठमांडू गए हैं और उसमें 10 ऑर्थोपेडिक सर्जन, 2 एनेस्थेटिस्ट और साथ में पैरामेडिक स्टाफ, ये सारे का सारा वहाँ पहुँच चुका है. 15 मेट्रिक टन दवाइयाँ यह भेजी जा चुकी हैं.
India had planned to fly 10 flights to Kathmandu on Sunday, which will carry more National Disaster Response Force teams, medical teams, engineering task force, water, food, blankets and tents. Other neighbors like China, Pakistan have also sent in teams to help Nepal in the hour of crisis. United States, Russia and Japan were also among the countries to have sent aid and rescue teams to Nepal. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, more than 1,000 Indians have been evacuated from Nepal on Sunday, a day after a 7.9 magnitude earthquake hit the country. While 6 military aircrafts are operational in Kathmandu, India hopes to push the figure to 13 to ensure speedy evacuation. There will also be major evacuation through road, but there are still several people stranded in Nepal waiting to be rescued. India has stepped up operations to rescue its nationals from earthquake-ravaged Nepal. So far, 1,050 Indians have been brought back from Nepal through defence and civilian aircrafts. The rescue operations were hampered today by an aftershock that measured 6.9 on the Richter scale. Among those rescued since Saturday night included many infants. Those rescued recounted their horror and thanked the government.
2 aircraft have been able to take off. One was of 237, which has landed already. One is of 266, which is on its way. There is 1 aircraft which is loading as we speak, which is of 130 people. We have a lot of Indians and citizens of other countries who are at the airport. We have to tell them to be patient.
The situation in Nepal today was scary. It was really very bad. And the Indian embassy in Nepal was fantastic. They were there to help. Indian Air Force, they sent a plane to evacuate us.
We waited for half an hour and Indian Air Force guys helped very nicely and he landed us here safely. I would like to thank the Indian government and as well as the Karnataka government.
The aircraft sent to Nepal would not just rescue Indians but citizens of other countries as well. This comes even as thousands of foreign nationals are scrambling to leave the earthquake-struck country.
From yesterday, 6 p.m., our flight was cancelled.
Yesterday we've been on Dachinkali, it's a temple in the south of Kathmandu, and the earthquake was also quite strong there, and everything was shaking. All people got into panic.
Meanwhile, India has also deployed 35 buses to move its stranded nationals out of Nepal.
We also hope that we will be able to get people out of Kathmandu by buses. We have been trying to confirm that the 2 road access to Kathmandu one from the Raxol Birganj side and the other from Sunoli Bhairava side, that these are open. To the best of our information, the roads are open, but the traffic is moving very slowly. It's clogged with vehicles.
An Indian mountaineering team has also been rescued from the Mount Everest. A 30-member team has been brought to the Everest base camp. An under-14 girls football team from India that was stuck in Kathmandu also returned safely on Sunday. The Ministry of External Affairs has set up a 24-hour control room to help Indians stranded in Nepal. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Well, India also experienced fresh aftershocks on Sunday. The series of earthquakes since Saturday has left more than 60 people dead and injured in hundreds. The centre has taken up rescue and relief operations to help affected states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal. The damage caused by the quakes on the Indian side is still being assessed.
Fresh aftershock on Sunday triggered panic among the northern states. The 6.9 magnitude aftershock that hit Nepal was felt across the northern India, spanning from Chandigarh to as far as Kolkata in the east. Though there are no reports of any loss of life or property yet, metro services in Delhi and Kolkata were shortly suspended following the tremor.
हाँ कल के जैसा ही था अब सही माप तो हम लोग नहीं बता पाएंगे लेकिन काफी तेज झटका था और जैसा कि हमने आज अखबारों में भी देखा था कि 2-3 दिन तक अभी इस तरह की संभावनाएं बनी हुई है झटके आने की और लोगों को सावधान रहने की जरूरत है।
तो कल का हम लोगों ने थोड़ा सा आभास किया है, थोड़ा मन में उस तरह से हम लोगों को ये था कि कभी भी आ सकता है, इसलिए उतना भय नहीं था। तुरंत हम लोग जो है घर से बाहर निकले जो है, लेकिन फिर भी भय तो बना हुआ है।
Over 60 people, mostly in Bihar, were killed since Saturday. Hundreds were reported to be injured in the tragedy. Most deaths were due to wall and building collapse. Sitamarhi, East Champaran and Darbhanga districts were among the worst affected. The government has announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees for the families of the deceased. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is monitoring the situation himself and has issued directives to ensure timely relief for those affected.
उत्तर प्रदेश और बिहार के दोनों राज्य जहाँ पर भी बड़ी क्षति हुई है, उनके मुख्यमंत्रियों से भी बात की है और उनके प्रति भी मैं आभार व्यक्त करना चाहता हूँ कि उन्होंने तुरंत ये फैसला कर दिया कि हम अपनी बस भी नेपाल के लिए भेजेंगे ताकि जो भी काठमांडू से दूर दराज भी जो फंसे हुए हैं लोग सारे ऐसे टूरिस्ट इस बस के माध्यम से आ सकें।
Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has directed government officials to carry out relief work for the affected on a war footing. Meanwhile, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee was on tour in Siliguri, one of the worst hit parts of the state.
जो फरवरी और मार्च में ओलावृष्टि और इस प्रकार से फसलों का जो व्यापक क्षति हुई थी, जिसकी सूची बन गई है और जिसके लिए राशि का भी आवंटन किया जा चुका है, तो इन सारे कार्यों को वहां देखेंगे कि राहत कार्य युद्ध स्तर पर और सुचारू रूप से चलाया जाए। तो सारे हमारे माननीय मंत्रीगण अपने प्रभार के जिलों में कैंप करेंगे, प्रभारी सचिव अपने प्रभार के जिले में कैंप करेंगे।
कि झटके नहीं कहेंगे, इसको हम आफ्टर शॉक्स कहते हैं। लोगों को अलर्ट रहने की आवश्यकता है। ठीक है, रात हमारी बीत गई, रात में हम लोग ज्यादा चिंतित थे कि अगर उस समय आएगा तो क्या करेंगे।
এবং আমি সিস্টারদের নিজেও বলেছি যেহেতু এইসব এমার্জেন্সির সময় বেশি পেশেন্ট আসতে পারে আরো মানে বেড করে রাখার ব্যবস্থা করেছি এবং তাছাড়া এখানে যারা ডাক্তার বা সিস্টাররা আছেন তারা একটু বেশি বাড়তি সময় দিয়েও কাজটা করছেন কারণ এটা তো খুব মানবিক ব্যাপার এবং সবাই মিলেই করছেন।
The central government's crisis management committee, headed by Cabinet Secretary Ajit Seth, is holding regular meetings to keep a watch on the situation. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, time to take a very short break. We'll be right back with more news. Stay with us.
New government in New Delhi. New faces.
People are not investing because they are scared of your tax administration.
New thinking.
The auction process is a fair and good process.
We cannot have a one-size-fits-all reform policy.
For insights and perspective.
Judiciary should be more concerned about corruption within itself.
The Modi government slogan of "अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं." Soon the people's slogan will be "हमारे पुराने दिन लौटा दो."
the biggest show on economic policy. Watch State of the Economy.
Welcome back after the break. Now, the GST Bill, the Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill 2014, has been listed in the Lok Sabha today, moved by the Finance Minister last week. It faced considerable resistance, with opposition parties accusing the government of changing its stand. Parliament will have only 4 working days this week. Now, among the key items on its agenda will be the Goods and Services Tax Bill and the agrarian crisis in the country.
Despite the widespread protest against the land acquisition bill, the government has expressed its resolve to go ahead with it. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Venkaiah Naidu said the bill should not be politicized, even while opposition parties continue to describe it as anti-farmer.
The suicide of Sri Gajendra Singh has nothing to do with the Land Acquisition Act. There is no question of government doing any rethinking on the Land Acquisition Act. The government feels that this act is in the interest of the farmers, in the interest of the development. Farmer suicides are a long-term issue. It's a deeper issue. It's a very sensitive issue. The entire society has to apply its mind. The government at the center and the state and all the political parties should come together to find out some long-term solution to this problem.
The opposition is also expected to continue its opposition to the Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill 2014 that Finance Minister Arun Jaitley moved on Friday. Several opposition parties put up a stiff resistance to it, wanting the bill to be sent to the Standing Committee. Members of Congress led by Sonia Gandhi, the Left, the TMC and the NCP staged a walkout. The AIA-DMK and the BJD also opposed its consideration but did not walk out. The Constitution Amendment Bill needs to be passed by 2/3 members present in the House. The opposition members say they need more time to study the new legislation. A single rate of GST is expected to replace a range of indirect taxes to ensure a seamless transfer of goods and services. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And on to some international news now. While fighting escalated across Yemen, at least 5 airstrikes were reported on military positions in the capital Sana'a on Sunday. Yemenis Foreign Minister rejected calls for peace talks by former Yemen President Ali Abdullah Saleh, saying that the Saudi-led campaign against Houthi rebels have not yet ended.
Airstrikes, naval shelling and ground fighting. Yemen continues to be on the boil. At least 5 airstrikes were reported near the presidential palace in Yemeni capital Sana'a on Sunday. They were the first since the Saudi-led coalition declared they were scaling back the airstrikes.
أولاً بالنسبة لعاصفة الحزم لم تنتهي عاصفة الحزم. هناك وقف مؤقت للضربات العسكرية الجوية الروتينية.
There is no progress on the political dialogue yet. Yemen's foreign minister rejected calls for peace talks by former President Ali Abdullah Saleh, claiming that the fight against Houthi rebels has not yet ended.
علي عبد الله صالح هذا مرفوض وغير مقبول بعد كل هذا التدمير ليس من حقه أن يطلب ذلك وليس مقبولا أيضا.
On the ground, UNICEF is delivering medical aid and supplies. According to the UN estimates, over 500 people have been killed in the fighting so far. Meanwhile, Iran's naval chief said that they would station warships in the Gulf of Aden for at least several months, raising US concerns on Iran supplying weapons to Houthi rebels. To make the situation worse, in a recent video, the Islamic State claimed that they have established official presence in Yemen. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Kazakhstan President Nazarbayev looks likely to extend his 26-year rule by another 5 years. The 74-year-old is running against 2 candidates widely seen as pro-government figures. Now, he has been the country's president since the post was established at the breakup of the Soviet Union. Here is more.
Kazakh President Nursultan Nazarbayev, who has been in power since 1991, is on course for a crushing election victory. Exit polls show him to have won 97.5% of the vote. The country's Central Election Commission claimed a record turnout of 95.11% for the presidential poll. More than 1,100 international and independent observers monitored the vote.
По итогам экзит-пул результаты по кандидатам в президенты Республики Казахстан распределились следующим образом. За Нурсултана Абишевича Назарбаева.
Nazarbayev's fifth consecutive term was never in doubt. He cast his ballot to loud cheering in the capital Astana, saying that he was sure that the people will support his campaign. The president has promised economic and social stability in the oil-rich Central Asian state. The country's marginalized opposition hasn't put forward a strong competing candidate. His two opponents are both seen as pro-government.
Я уверен, что казахстанцы проголосуют прежде всего за стабильное развитие нашей страны и улучшение жизни народа. Во-вторых, за стабильность государства, за поддержку такой политики, которую страна проводила под моим руководством.
The vote was taken against a faltering economy in recent months in Kazakhstan, that is the richest of the 5 former Soviet Central Asian states. Election had been due in 2016, but President Nazarbayev announced they would be held a year early in what some see as a move intended to halt speculation about any possible successor. He won nearly 96% of the vote in the previous election in April 2011. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And 2 protesters were shot dead and at least 1 injured in Burundi as the clashes broke out after the President Pierre Nkurunziza's attempt to run for a 3rd term. The clashes triggered an exodus of refugees into neighboring countries of Rwanda and Congo, also drawing sharp reactions from the US and the European Union.
Clashes erupted in Burundi's capital, Bujumbura, after the ruling party CNDD-FDD designated President Pierre Nkurunziza as its candidate for the 26 June elections. Hundreds of people clashed with the police, in which 2 protesters were shot dead.
Le sang, la vie des personnes, c'est sacré, faut plus y toucher. Et maintenant, on tue même des sœurs et on a un gouvernement qui se tait. Et maintenant, ce même gouvernement vient de faire un coup d'État en disant on arrête Arusha.
Burundi's constitution limits the presidential term for only 2 times, but Nkurunziza's party says he's eligible for another term as he was elected by lawmakers in his first term and not by the voters.
Watu wote wanampenda juu anafanya kazi mingi na anapenda amani na tulishamchagua limoya.
The United States and many African leaders criticize the ruling party's decision. The European Union has indicated punitive steps if violence erupted. Over 17,000 Burundians fled the country into neighboring Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo since mid-March due to rising fears of violence in the run-up to the presidential election. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And more international news in World Wrap. More than 30 people were killed on Sunday as heavy rains and strong winds tore through Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province of Pakistan. The rains caused damage to many infrastructure installations. Pakistan Army said the troops were sent to launch rescue and relief operations. At least 22 people were killed in explosions across Iraq on Sunday, including a suicide car bomb attack on a military post in western Anbar province. The deadliest attack came when a car packed with explosives was detonated at an army checkpoint near the town of Al-Nuhaib, an outpost on the route to western neighbors Syria and Saudi Arabia, killing at least 7 soldiers. The South African government reacted angrily to Nigeria's decision to recall its ambassadors from Pretoria over a wave of mob attacks on African migrants. South African government released a statement on Sunday calling Nigeria's move an unfortunate and regrettable step. At least 7 people were killed in the attacks. Well, that's all in this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching and have a great day ahead.